Firms housing asylum seekers own the Home Office millions in profit. Going to read into this more from the Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from the Times with a headline that firms housing asylum seekers own the Home Office millions in profit. Serco, Clearsprings, Ready Homes and Mears told MPs that they haven't paid a penny despite their contractual obligations. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share across social media so others are notified of this video. I should just point out a little caveat that this article came out on Tuesday, May the 13th, and there has been reports that apparently one or two have paid some, but we're not entirely sure. I will just say that obviously that I don't like that especially Serco out of all the ones there. I mean, I'm fully aware of Serco because they're literally everywhere. These companies, they will use the most minimum amount of work necessary to do their job to earn the maximum amount of profit. These companies were able to basically take advantage of the Conservatives, and it seems that Labour's policies are to change to trying to recoup some of the money that these companies were making profits of, because literally what was happening was taxpayer money was being given to these guys to look after asylum seekers, and a lot of money, by the way, and some of that money wasn't actually used to actually help with this situation, and it just ended up going into their bank accounts, basically. So essentially, it's literally just you as a taxpayer giving your money to me, and I'm basically just putting it in my bank account and not doing anything with it. Because that's essentially what was happening here with these companies. I've always said the easiest option to deal with asylum seekers, to those crossing the channels, is to set up safe and legal routes. If we set up safe and legal routes for people to come to the UK, you would avoid the criminal gangs that Keir Starmer keeps banging on about. Would help deal with the situation when it comes to the border. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to take the safe and legal route, and everybody wants to keep playing this game that everything all revolves around immigration. And the problem is that it feeds into the narrative, and people continue to believe the narrative that all their problems resolve around immigration, when in fact we need immigration in order to function. And we're actually going to get poorer as a society because we don't actually have the workforce we need on certain jobs. But hey ho, that's a topic for another day. But these companies need to be clamped down on, especially if they're ones supposed to be looking after them, looking after asylum seekers, looking after these people. Because, like I said, their number one priority, like any other private company, is to make money, and they will use the minimum as possible to maximize the most of profit. So, three companies that provide asylum accommodation owe the government tens of millions of pounds because they have made too much profit, MPs have been told. However, none of them have yet paid a penny back to the Home Office. The revelations came during an evidence session with executives from Serco, Clearsprings, Ready Homes and Mears, hosted by the Commons Home Affairs Select Committee, part of its inquiry into the soaring cost of asylum accommodation. So last week, the National Audit Office revealed that the 10-year contracts with the three companies will cost the taxpayer £15.3 billion. Does that sound like money well spent? £15.3 billion. Do you see something wrong here? Because I do. Triple the amount the Home Office originally estimated when it signed the deals in 2019. This is under the Conservatives. You know what? That's £15.3 billion. That should come out of the Conservatives' coffers, which are taxpayers. All three companies have gained record profits since taking on the Migrant hotel contracts, telling MPs that they are making profits of between 5 and 7%. Any profits above 5% must be shared with the Home Office under formula agreed in the contracts. So Clearsprings owns the Home Office £32 million, but has not yet paid any of it to the department at the time of this recording, as far as I'm aware. Steve Lackley, managing director, said the money was ready to go, but was awaiting the final audit. Jason Burt, Director of Health and Safety Compliance at Mears, told the committee that his company owed £13.8 million, but had not paid any of it to the Home Office because it was also undergoing an audit process. Are they delaying, or are they just not doing it? Claudia Strude, Director of Immigration and Prisons at Serco, was unable to say how much money her company owed to the Home Office, but confirmed it had not made any payment. She estimated that Serco would make up a total profit of £385 million over the 10-year contract, of which several millions would be owed in share profits. You can see something's like, how can you not see there's money being wasted here? The companies are responsible for protecting asylum accommodations across the UK, and as of December, the latest date for which figures are available, a total of 109,882 asylum seekers were being provided taxpayer-funded accommodation, of which 38,213 were in hotels, according to the National Audit Office. You know, taxpayer-funded accommodation. Wouldn't it be nice, guys, if we actually give, rather while we wait for their application to be processed, wouldn't it be better if we actually, you know, they were able to do work, like a job, and they could earn money themselves, rather than us them right off the taxpayer while we're waiting for their process to be made? Because sometimes these processes, the application process, can take as much as a year. Why not allow them to work instead of sitting around doing absolutely nothing with their lives? The majority of migrants living in hotels were in the south of England and are being provided by Clearsprings, which had 22,869 asylum seekers in hotels as of December. Likely said these companies have plans to acquire 15,000 beds in cheaper self-catering dispensable accommodation in communities, which they would use to transfer migrants out of hotels. This will reduce their total number of migrants in taxpayer-funded hotels by about 40%. The Free executive explained that the increase in costs of their company's contracts were a result of increasing number of migrants crossing the channel in small boats. I'm not gonna. I don't know if that's entirely the case. Is that really just the case? The Home Office said that 601 migrants arrived in 10 boats on Monday, bringing the total for this year to 12,407. A record for this time in the year, and almost a third higher than this time in 2024. Chris Philps, he's not very a bright person. The Shadow Home Secretary said on the very day Sir Keir Starmer rolled out his feasible immigration white flag, 601 illegal migrants crossed the channel, pushing 2025's total past 12,000. 2025 has so far been the worst year in history for illegal immigrants crossing the channel. Labour have made catastrophic mistakes by cancelling the Rwanda removal as deterrent. Rwanda was never going to work, guys. Let's be absolutely clear. Before we even started, we have seen from Australia how this approach completely stops illegal maritime crossings a decade ago. Australia is a completely different category. It's a completely different in terms of geography perspective. You can't make the same comparison. It's just ridiculous, guys. And no, it will not stop people still wanting to come to the UK. The government has vowed to crack down on people smuggling gangs, including by handing counter-terrorist style powers to law enforcement agencies under the Border Security, Asylum and Immigration Bill. Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, said that further reforms to the asylum seeking system and to border security in response to irregular migration would be set out later this summer. The Home Office has said we all want to end dangerous small boat crossings, which threaten lives and undermine our border security. That is why this government has put together a serious plan to tackle down these networks at every stage. But will this work? I don't know whether the Prime Minister's plan is actually going to work. I'm very skeptical of it personally, guys. I just think he's using a lot of hard, firm rhetoric to try to appeal to the reform voters. And the thing is, I just don't see a scenario here, especially the ones who are so hardcore on immigration. I just don't see them going back to voting Labour. And they will just. I just don't see it. The thing is, if people feel they are better off, if people feel their lives have improved, then they will vote Labour. But if they don't feel it, they're not going to. They're not going to. And the language and the tone about asylum seekers and immigration is not been helpful in any way, shape or form from the Prime Minister. And it sets a very, very bad example, because we know President Trump sets a very bad example of how he's been handling himself as president. But this coming from Keir Starmer, it just feels wrong on so many levels, guys. It really, really does. But what do you guys honestly think? What do you guys make about the situation with the asylum system that we have? The Home Office being owed millions of pounds in profit by these private companies. Are you surprised by taxpayer money being wasted like this? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comments section below. Now, if you found this video informative or helpful, please hit that like button, share it across social media, subscribe if you haven't too already. Do check out the Patreon and Rumble content for exclusive stuff on those platforms. And if you want to financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Just click that join button down below. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.